everyone, welcome to THL's Hearthcenter, bringing you the highlights of the latest week of THL. I'm one of your hosts, Lotus Knight, and I am joined by my usual amazing crew and a special guest tonight. So let's hop in as I say hello to Azalea Kari. Azalea, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. I'm excited to be back on the show.
Always great having you. And to my right, we have Geranium Battle. Geranium, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm literally looking forward to this last week, maybe 2 weeks for some of the series before playoffs. It's some of the most hype the matches get.
For sure. We also have Super Chicken with us tonight. Chicken, how are you?
I'm pretty good. It is kind of my least favorite time in the THL cycle, by which I mean a double week. But I'm holding strong. I'm holding it together.
Nice. And finally, L-Bomb, how are you?
I'm doing great. School's getting to me a little bit, but I still got time for my favorite card game, so I'm here. I'm ready.
All right, so we have a lot to talk tonight. I'm going to get us right into it and hop on to Player of the Week. As a reminder, we don't have Player of the Week for Wild this week. Geranium, why do we not have a Wild Player of the Week?
Well, we don't have a Wild Player of the Week because Wild is in finals. Seriously, go check it out on the website. That means we had playoffs last week. We don't feature Players of the Week during playoffs. So very exciting Wild finals. We already have a few results in. So
Yeah.
Who are the Wild Finals? Why don't you tell us, Geranium?
of course, Wild finals are, of course, the usual Wild finalists, F2L Viridian, and the also usually very powerful Shakers. This time they are calling themselves the Sharp Shooting Shakers.
All right. Any calls on who's going to win, Geranium?
Ooh, man, it is tough to call. I think actually the usually undefeated Lorthos losing in Game 5 might be a sign for things to come. That does put them at 1-1 in matches, but I usually say Lorthos never loses, and that might give F2L the edge.
All right. Azalea, who wins Wild?
I have to back the team that I subbed for last week in F12 Viridian. It's gonna be a close match. I think on paper it should I think with the remaining matches I would probably think that Shakers should win, but it can depend on match order. With potential decisions, but this it looks like this series should be going all 5 games based on that. But I will say Viridian takes down another one.
All right. And Chicken, I know you're not a Wild player. Do you want to give an opinion?
I do want to give an opinion because I know most of the players on these teams. And I'm going to have to give it to the Shakers here. Just like, especially like OTZ and Tiger Eye are, I don't know, definitely some of the tougher opponents I've got against in THL Wild. And these are some, I mean, both sides obviously have very, very seasoned Wild veterans here, but personally, I think I'm going to have to give it to the Shakers. I think their team is just a little bit stronger on paper for me.
All right. And L-Bomb, any thoughts here?
I know less than nothing about Wild, but I do like sharing opinions without any reasoning to
That's
back
fair.
it up. So I'm gonna say the Shakers win just because their logo is cooler.
I love it.
That's fair. Well,
This is why you guys bring me on, because I know so much about Wild.
It's true. We should probably try to get next week the Wild champions for an interview on Hearthcenter. So stay tuned as I try to do that next week.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
But sticking around with this week, should we talk about our player of the week for the other series?
Yes.
So, I'm going to start by asking Chicken, can you tell us our hero player of the week?
Certainly, our hero player of the week is none other than Dankus Dad. With playoffs on the horizon, Dankus Dad and The Last Dance propelled their ways forward towards the number one seed with a big win. In his contest, Dankus and or his opponent played Warrior in all 5 games, with Dankus Dad knocking Warrior off with his Rogue in Game 5 and came out victorious in an excellent match. So thanks to just in time for this. Thanks to not just in time for this submission, and congrats to Dankus for that very impactful win.
Yeah.
Nice. And Azalea, can you tell us our legacy player of the week?
Absolutely. Legacy, we have something I've never actually gotten to be part of it, and we actually have a few Legacy Series Player of the Weeks in the form of Caleb BM, F. Srirachi 1, and Epicat. This week's Player of the Week is undefeated this season with a 6-0 record. Their win helping their team to a 23-point week, securing the bye in Red Conference. Who is it, do you ask? Well, it's 3 people actually. Caleb EM, F. Srirachi 1, and Epicat are all 6-0 and on the same team. These Lost Boys are definitely not lost in the meta. Congrats on Players of the Week and best of luck keeping the perfect season going. And thank you, Bone Master, for the write-up.
Nice. Thank you very much, Bone Masher, for the riot. Yeah. And finally, for our pro player of the week, L-Bomb, who is our pro player of the week?
All right, our pro player of the week this week is going to be Parawax. In a rare 25-game set, so all 5 games go into Game 5, APM took an 18-10 win last week with Parawax leading the charge in the 1 seed. Parawax has always been a fearsome foe in pro, and this season is no different. A very well-deserved player of the week for one incredible player. And thank you to Basting for the write-up.
Nice. Congratulations to Parawax, Caleb EM, Srirachi 1, Epicat, and Dankisdad for your amazing results and your very deserving title of Player of the Week. As a reminder, you can still submit people for Player of the Week. I believe we still have 1 more week for each series. Is that true, Geranium?
Well, there's this week left in Hero. I believe there's actually 2 weeks left in both Pro and Legacy. So there's still a little bit of time for people to be Player of the Week of their own.
Nice. With that out of the way, should we move on to Hero Series?
Let's take a look.
So we start by looking at a strong team keeping their strength, but not a perfect result. We have F12 Black facing the Department of League Administration in Hero Series. And to tell us about it, we have honorary F2L member Azalea Akari. Azalea, tell us about this match.
Absolutely. So, like Lotus said, this was a close week between F12 Black and Dola. And it starts in that 1 seed slot where Nice Jewish Owl took a 3-1 win over Ron Mexico. But Dola striking back in the 2 seed Heat Shock, getting a 3-2 win over Rabobson. Swinging back and forth, Ramiat with a 3-2 win over 2-star Mako. Dragon Rider able to get the Game 5 win over Starlax. And Judo Chop getting a 3-1 win over Saku.
Nice. This was quite the week. I want to ask Chicken, anything you want to tell us about this one?
Yeah, it's been an odd season for the Department of League Administration. I don't think it's really the record anyone expected them to be having at this point in the season. And especially not the records for their, previously, or two players that have previously either gotten Hero MVP or come very close in recent seasons. So yeah, this is really weird for me to see.
It's known as a
Just looking
PR
at-
management season.
This is definitely, yeah, Ron's going from 550 PR to 550 PR. This is some true PR management. But yeah, this is like a bit of interesting stuff from Dola. Like I think most people, at least from what I've seen, have kind of gone away from the Shaman, but we're still seeing that a decent bit from them. Mako still enjoying or trying out the Hunter at least, and the DK as well. And a bit more Paladin from the side of F2L Black. I actually personally, I have not been playing all that much Paladin since the mini set has dropped. But I also have been kind of trying to like figure out what actually like the best list of Paladin is. I haven't. I've been kind of like afraid to like. I've been kind of tinkering around with it, but anyway, Paladin does seem quite strong to me, but I still have yet, at least in my head, yet to figure out like what the optimal list of it is.
I think it's a very
think-
hard class to figure out.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could kind of take some of the new cards. But yeah, I think F2L definitely had a bit of a better idea in terms of prep with like bringing more Paladin and less Shaman this week.
Anyone else wants to comment about F12 Black facing the Department of League Administration?
I mean, I do just want to echo. It's kind of crazy seeing Ron going 0-6 at this point in the season. Like every single time I've played against him, turned on the stream, right? That man is just crushing Hearthstone. One of the best players I've ever, had the pleasure of playing a match against. And at 6 weeks in, you'd think you'd see at least one win, but this season just looks like that's getting turned on its head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to dogpile. In fact, I want to do the opposite and say that Ron, despite this season, is still 150 PR above any other player in Hero Series. So
Yeah, he's
Insane player.
this will reverse.
Mhm.
What's the next match?
And he's crushing every other series, so I hope it turns around. And
Now, let's take a look at our next match. And Elbom, why don't you tell us about a premium mountain facing
Yeah,
Dead
definitely.
Legend?
Oh man, it is not loading on my end. My computer has decided to doom me.
Did it work?
All right, A Premium Mountain versus Dad Legend. My page decided to finally load. So lots of druids getting brought. I believe druid brought by every player. Not as much paladin, but we have Chewy going 3-0 over World 8. We have Dr. Bomdi going 3-0 over Jammies. We have A Harmless Dog going 3-0 over Buzosaurus. And then we have F Srirachi 1 going 3-2 over Yellow Dart, and Wi-Fi going 3-1 over Risen. So lots of sweeps this week. Lots of Druid bans. Banned nine lineups out of 10, and pretty close series. I don't know the order the matches were played on off of the top of my head, but lots of sweeps on both sides. So it was definitely interesting down to the wire.
For sure. Geranium, anything you want to add about this one?
Yeah, I believe it was the start was pretty lopsided. I think Bombdy was the last one to play. But yeah, this is a pretty classic thing that you saw pre-patch or pre-mini set is a lot of Druid bans. Druid brings Druid bans very popular, and that means that a lot of players then have to figure out what the next worst thing to face is, and that's usually Rogue. And Rogue does a lot of sweeping sometimes, if you just draw Valorok early. So not surprised that there were some sweeps here, and we'll see if that ends up changing a little bit going into this. Oh, wait a second. Yellow Arc didn't get changed.
No, but Drury got better. But anyways, I digress.
Anything anyone else wants to say about APM facing Dead Legend?
I'm really happy to see APM making a push at the end of the season with points. Yeah.
A push of momentum, if you will, for the APM there.
Yeah,
One thing I'll mention is actually Dead Legend, I think, took a step away from their usual classes. Like, I think they usually bring more Hunter, and so maybe them getting off their comfort classes hurt them. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, let's take a look at the Teal Conference standings, or only standings, because we just have one conference. So, Azalea, what does Hero look like at the end of this week?
Absolutely. So at the end of this week, we had F12 Black starting this week at 110 points with a 5-1 record. We had The Last Dance at 102 points with a 4-2 record. Below them, we have A Precarious Moment at 89 points with a 3-3 record. Ogre Flow Out of Bounds Exception at 86 points to start the week, 2-4 record. And then we have A Premium Mountain at 85 points with a 4-2 record. We have Dad Legend. Oh, they were at 81 to start the week. Dad the Legend at 79 points to start the week at a 3-3 record. Then we have Department of League Administration at 73 with 2-4 record, and No New Too High at 60 points and a 1-5 record.
Nice. One more week to go. So, how many teams in Hero make it? I believe it is 4 of them, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
So, I want to ask you all, who makes it? And I'm going to start asking this question to Azalea, who just read the standings. No explanation needed. Just tell me 4 teams that make it.
Okay. I think the top 2 teams are probably all but locked. F2L Black with The Last Dance. I think A Premium Mountain will make it, and I think A Precarious Moment makes it.
Okay.
Yeah, just looking at matchups, but that's there's no explanation. So.
No need. Geranium, who makes it?
Ooh, Overgrowth facing the top, APM facing the other top. Probably A Premium Mountain makes it. Probably Ogre Flow makes it.
Okay, and Chicken, who makes it?
Yeah, so a Premium Mountain is facing Dola this week. Yeah, I think APM's making playoffs. And yeah, the other APM team is facing the Last Dance. Looks worse. Yeah, it's actually gonna. Oh man, that's probably quite close between a Precarious Moment and Ogre Flow because they're both facing the top 2 teams. I would maybe give it to a Precarious Moment. They have a little bit of a points advantage already, and they're playing the Last Dance as opposed to F2L Black, who has been performing a bit better this season. So I'd say, yeah, I'm also gonna go with the double APM teams making it into playoffs.
All right. And L-Bomb, who makes it?
Yeah, I hate to just echo the sentiment here, but I do think it's going to be a double APM, F2L Black, Last Dance in the top 4. Ogre Flow having to go against the top team in the conference is going to really hurt them this week, especially because they're already down a game. They're starting the season with Critical, or not the season, the week with Critical going 2-3 over versus Ramiat. And APM is already up 3-1, Wyfair taking it over Saku. So if they can continue that pressure, I think they might be able to pass up Ogre Flow for that 4th spot.
Fair. Now, shall we use this moment to move to Hero PPR? So Elbom, you have our hero PPR. So why don't you start telling us the honorable mentions?
I do. So our honorable mentions right now, we have Starlax at 4-2 record, going 14-9 in their matches. We have Dragon Rider at 3-3, going 15-15 in their matches. We have Critical at 4-3, going 17-15 in their matches. Bill Snyder at 4-2, going 14-11 in their matches, and Lemur at 5-2, going 16-8 in their matches.
Awesome. Now let's check the main list, starting from the bottom. Who's number 10 and then going up?
Number 10, we have Efsarachi 1 at 4-2, going 14-10 in their matches. At number 9, we have Osmonaut at 3-0, going 9-5 in their matches. Number 8, we have Ramia at 5-1, going 16-8 in their matches. At number 7, we have Rebobson at 4-2, going 15-11 in their matches. At 6, we have Nice Jewish Owl at 4-1, going 13-5 in their matches. At 5, we have Heat Shock at 4-2, going 16-12 in their matches. At 4, we have Dankest Dad at 4-1, going 14-7 in their matches. And then entering the top 3, we have Wi-Fi at 6-1, going 19-11 in their matches. Tab at number 2, going 5-1, 17-9 in their matches. And at the number 1 spot, we have Pace with a clean 6-0 record, going 18-7 in their matches.
Nice.
Nice.
Wi-Fi is already having the record of next week. Well, this week. But
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some players who had. Yeah. Oh, it's all good.
This is an awesome crew.
Yeah, it really is.
Any thoughts anyone wants to share on these before we move on to Legacy? All right, so let's take a look at Legacy, where things are in an interesting state as well. So we're going to start by taking a look at F2O White facing the Blind Bandits. And this was such a close, so close match. This is, as always, quite crazy. So let's take a look at it. And I want to invite, let's say Chicken. Why don't you tell us about F2O White facing Blind Bandits?
All right. So we had a very, very close match versus F2O White, who's right in the playoff hunt and Legacy, and the Blind Bandits, who, have probably been out of the playoff race for a while, but put up quite a good fight against the team that has had a lot more success this season. I'm seeing that Oversea Year has 3 classes. I assume they accidentally had the same, or maybe accidentally. Actually, how do you get 3 classes? You just only had 3 submitted, or like? I'm confused.
I'm not sure.
I've actually never seen that.
No,
or
I've
maybe
never
just a
seen-
submission issue. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, a little bit of interesting class differences here, like a good amount of priests from F2L White versus a couple of mages on the side of the Blind Bandits, and the Blind Bandits enjoying the Paladin bring a little bit more. I'm personally a bit surprised to see like Warrior as popular as it is. Like Warrior is just as popular as say like Druid in this match, despite like obviously Druid's getting banned way more, but like I'm surprised that Warrior is like across both Hero and Legacy, Warrior is such a popular class.
I mean, these were all pre-patch, but still.
Yeah, I found like even pre-patch, like Warrior was like a fairly mediocre 4th and didn't. But I know there are like obviously certain players that can pilot Warrior really well, and I know like Molstar, for example, has been playing his version of Warrior at like top 10 legend for the past couple weeks. So there certainly is like the potential for really strong players to like pilot warrior quite well. And I think there's certainly some deck refinement to be made there because so many of the lists are so vastly different, and you get a lot of disparities across like different lists in terms of like how the deck's performing. So maybe Warriors overall like win rate will get better once people figure out like what the best lists are. But at least going off of like what I've seen from ladder, it just seems a bit underwhelming to me.
Mm-hmm. Fair. Geranium, anything you want to say?
Well, I mean, some of the results here may seem a bit surprising. That being, one player did not submit Druid, which was, well, maybe not as surprising that that did not result in a win, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, some cool brings here, some Warlock versus Hunter action, which Warlock, having an aggressive function that was even buffed in the mini set. So I am ready to see whether more people are going to be bringing Warlock